I realized I kind of segued quick off of that one. I didn't really have much else to talk about it beyond that's a dumb.
I didn't either.
The dumb song about a lobster. That's all I got to say about it.
Nah, you're totally good. We got a lot more dumb songs to cover real quick.
Right.
So no issue there. Welcome to After Playlist, the music playlist discussion and reaction podcast. I'm one of your hosts, Terry O.
And I'm Brandon Lee.
And we love music and food, and we like talking about both of them. So that's what this episode is about. Food. It's a time of year where in America where we stuff our faces with entirely too much delicious food. Hopefully delicious, depending on who's cooking.
Right.
So we thought, why not build up that appetite with a bunch of songs all talking about food or food-related stuff or food innuendo. And thankfully, these songs do not disappoint. And they don't require any cleanup.
Which is pretty nice.
Absolutely.
So yeah, we're going to be referring to several of the songs, pretty much all the songs from the playlist throughout the episode. So to ensure everyone is familiar, I'm going to introduce them real quick. Starting at the top, we have Let Her Cook by GloRilla. Rest in Grease by @Wendy's. I assume that's like the Wendy's Twitter account, if my social media knowledge is up to date. Then we got Fried Chicken by Nas featuring Busta Rhymes. Fried Rice by Lew Sid. Greens, Beans, Potatoes by DJ Suede, right? Yeah, DJ Suede, the remix god. Is that how that's supposed to be said? Okay.
DJ Suede,
the remix god. Okay, there we go. I said it correctly now. Continuing on, we have Rock Lobster by the B-52s. Then Carry Out, Timbaland featuring Justin Timberlake. Closed on Sunday by Kanye West. Hollaback Girl by Gwen Stefani. Peaches by the Presidents of the United States of America. Peaches and Cream by 112. Mom's Apple Pie by Tyrone Davis. Cherry Pie by Warrant. Apple Cobbler by LL Cool J. Savoy Truffle by the Beatles. Another Peaches and Cream, this time by Beck. Cookies by MF Doom. And rounding out the playlist, we have Horchata by Vampire Weekend. And if you haven't already listened to the songs that we are about to discuss and that I just outlined, we do have direct links to the music playlist in the description, aka the show notes, for your listening pleasures. And I'll go ahead and say, just for both the audience and Terrio's sake, I was in charge of organizing and arranging the playlist. And the way I decided to arrange it was how you would see the food laid out, or like the order you would see the food laid out on like a buffet table.
Oh.
So we have Let Her Cook starting out because she's in the kitchen cooking it, cooking all the food up. Then we have like the actual meals like fried chicken, fried rice, greens, beans, potatoes, lobster. Then you might have some carry out. And then you got some fruits and some desserts to round it off. And then at the very end, we have a nice, somewhat dessert-like drink, horchata. So that was my thought process on that. Just wanted to go ahead and throw that in there.
Oh, sweet. Okay, cool. I was wondering what the pattern you chose, but it actually worked out, and it actually flows very well. So good
yes,
job.
It
I
does.
like it. So before we dive into the episode, let's get our after playlist disclaimers out of the way. Number one, we respect everyone's opinion regardless of how wrong or awful it may be. Number two, we're just having fun with this Thanksgiving inspired playlist. So even if you don't celebrate Thanksgiving for whatever valid reason you may have, maybe you don't like the holiday, maybe you're in a whole other country, a whole other part of the world, we do have an international audience, you can still enjoy this episode. It's basically songs about food or food-related topics.
Yep.
And number three, we're just talking about the music. We're not talking about politics, Uncle Earl. We're just talking about the music, Aunt Susie. We're not talking about the artist's real-life, personable, or cancelable issues, Grandma Moses. You hear me? We're just talking about the music. Focus on the music. We're not doing that shit at the dinner table this year.
Nope. Just the music.
And lastly, if you're enjoying the podcast, give us a like and subscribe to the podcast on Apple Music, Spotify, YouTube, or wherever you get your podcasts. And the easiest way and the freest way to support the show is simply by sharing it. So feel free to share this playlist, have it in the background while you're preparing your meals or getting the table set up or just want to have some fun with the family.
Free?
For free. That's the only thing free around this time of year. So without further ado, let's talk about it. Okay. We're gonna talk about the dinner playlist.
So yeah, let's just start there. Let's just start at the top with GloRilla's "Let Her Cook," and she's from like Memphis or somewhere, right? That's like
that's
not even like that's this very specific Southern accent.
It is. They definitely their ers are like very, very pronounced. Like encore.
Yeah.
Like they got that real thickness to it. And R.I.P. to Gangsta Boo. I wasn't a fan of GloRilla until I saw another podcast where Gangsta Boo kind of co-signed GloRilla. So then, that kind of put me on my radar to like kind of pay attention to her. So a couple songs that she came out early on, I wasn't really feeling. Obviously, I'm not her target demographic, but whatever. But then I noticed her a little bit more, been picking up on the flow and the cadence, and then unfortunately Gangsta Boo passed. So I felt like before Gangsta Boo passed, she kind of subliminally passed the torch to Memphis over to GloRilla. So she's kind of keeping that legacy and keeping that flow alive for the gangsta girls, MCs, and all of that good stuff. That album came out, and my coworkers, because again, I'm kind of sort of the unofficial DJ at work. The ladies wanted to hear the album, and I put the album on. A couple songs had me cracking up because it's just wild, like the lyrics that she be coming out with. And then this song came on. I was like, this is going on the playlist.
It deserves it. Well, I will say I was also. I still don't know if I'd say I'm a fan of GloRilla, but she has definitely, kind of like you were saying, she's been popping up randomly for me here and there, just on random mega playlists. I'll listen on Spotify or YouTube or whatever, and she's definitely talented. Like, even if I think you kind of hit the nail on the head, I don't feel like you nor me are really her target demographic by and large. But that being said, even with that being said, I'm definitely able to recognize just the pure talent that she has. Even if it's not necessarily for me. Yeah, this song is pretty delightful. I think it's a great way to start the playlist. It's got like the energy in the song is just like it's a good tone setter.
It is. It's the equivalent of like, okay, all right, I got some work to do. Let's get. And you start this on and like just get the energy up. It's like, all right, I'm about to be in the kitchen. I'll be doing this task for a long time. I gotta start up good.
I was also happy whenever I was like arranging the playlist that I decided to put this one first, because it's almost like a subliminal message to all of you listeners of the playlist of, look, just let us cook, just trust in after playlist in the music we're giving you, and just let us cook with what we got here, because there got some bangers on this list.
Absolutely. Definitely that.
So, okay, I want to talk about, I want to dive into this song that you even asked like a week or so ago. It's like, is it okay if I put this on here? It's kind of a joke song. And I was like, I'll allow it. And then I actually listened to it, and it's been the number one song stuck in my head. I'm sure you already know what it is. Greens, Beans, Potatoes by DJ Suede, the remix god. Greens, beans, potatoes, tomatoes. That song, especially with you sending me over the weekend, you sent the I don't know if that's the original video remix, but it actually has the clip of the pastor lady doing it or whatever. I'd heard the song before, but I'd never actually seen the original, like from her from church, where she's like, like counting on her hands.
Yeah.
You name it. It's such a dumb, repetitive song, but the beat goes hard. And just the way that he did remix it, it's an earwormy type of song where it just gets stuck in your head. And especially this is the perfect time of year for it. It's definitely a Thanksgiving fall like season type of song. It's another one that definitely belongs wholeheartedly on this list.
Absolutely. So Thanksgiving is like one of the few holidays around this time of year that doesn't really have like a theme song. Like you have your Halloween songs and you have your Christmas songs. You really don't have like a fall or Thanksgiving song. So I would say for the past, I don't know how many years it's been out. What, 7, 8 something years now? That song has officially became like the Thanksgiving anthem. So
Rightfully so.
and when I saw it, I was like, first of all, I was like, okay, everybody going straight to hell for taking Pastor Shirley Caesar's just random anecdote in the song and turn it into a remix. But then I saw everybody doing the dances to it. I was like, okay, this is just having me cracking up. So, and like some of them, like I had to see the one where I forget his name, but the guy that like dresses up as his whole family and all of them doing the synchronized dancing. Yeah. I was like, that's wild. And the crazy part is just like I can picture certain parts of my family because I like because of my family. I don't know what it is about being from the South and these doggone line dances, man. Like somebody soon somebody drop a particular record, everybody get about that seat and everybody know how to do the synchronized dances. I'm like, how do y'all know? Like who started? Like, how do y'all know this? Like instinctually, they just get up and just.
It's not just a Southern thing by any means, but it is more prevalent here for some reason.
It is wild to me. So it just cracks me up. And then again, like the beat go hard. And then I sent you like a little clip from when she was on Wendy Williams' show. It was the only clip I could really find where she like explained like how she felt about it. And she was like, hey, if y'all gonna watch it, I'll make a donation to St. Jude. So like she wasn't really offended by it per se. The thing she really didn't too much care for was all the twerking. But
understandable
from her perspective. The twerking part, like she was like, yeah, y'all have fun with it. That's part of the mission of being a pastor, I guess. But yeah, it definitely goes hard. Like I can listen to it. I think I probably listened to it at least probably about 20 times on repeat. Like it just
easily. And it's definitely one of those beats that just it makes you want to start greens, beans, potatoes, tomatoes. You just start vibing to it. You can't not dance. And whenever you have a song that's kind of like repetitive like that, it just like even more so just lends itself to just like you just got to start vibing to it. I feel like.
And it's just like even after everything, you still be going like, you name it.
I was literally, dude, the last week at work, I was just going around in my head, you name it. I would randomly just say that in conversation, just a non sequitur, out of context, made no sense in the sentence. just come out.
Oh man, that is wild. All right, well, I'm gonna jump into one that had me cracking up similarly to beans, greens, and potatoes. And I'm gonna skip down a little bit. I'm gonna talk about.
We're gonna jump all over.
Perfect. I'm gonna talk about Peaches by the presidents of the United States of America. So,
yes.
This song,
I was so happy I got to put this one on here, dude.
When I got to it, I was just like, oh, okay. I didn't know. I just had no context or no nothing. And then when that song came on, I just fell out because I automatically thought about it.
I was imagining your reaction to this song all week, bro.
I was cracking up and I was like, millions of peaches.
Peaches for me.
And I remember, I'm not sure if you escaped the place at the time, but they used to play that song at the place.
Oh, did they really?
They really played it at the place. So I had that memory come back. And then I really don't know how to really say this. And this is going to come out wrong. And I apologize, but I don't. So because the place used to play it so much, the way I tolerated the playlist at the place was I would butcher the songs. And I'll make a stupid way out of it, a stupid song.
This is a very easy song to like riff on, I feel like.
100%. So if you replace peaches with bitches, it makes it so much better.
Moving to the country, gonna eat a lot of bitches. Moving to the country. That's so dumb, dude.
It's so stupid.
That's even more stupid than the actual song.
So, as derogatory as it is, but it's still just like millions of bitches for me.
Well, would you say it for the second? Bitches come from a can. They were put there by a man. Would you keep it for the whole song? Some of the lines that makes a lot of sense. Some of them not so much.
It's so stupid. Oh. But when you hear the song for the 40th time throughout the day, it's just like, I can't. I have to find some way to deal with this. This is torture. So, but just hearing that song, and I had no idea who the band was or is, or
I'll admit, this is the only song by them that I know. I don't even remember. I've known this song or of this song for a long time. I heard this song for the first way. I don't even remember where or when, but I know it's way, way, way back. Yeah, it's just this should be like our states. You know, we're here in Atlanta, in the peach state of Georgia. This should be our state's song. I feel like
you would think
not Georgia on my mind or whatever the hell we got. This should be it.
Not Georgia. Georgia. Nah, screw that
Get
song.
that trash out of you.
Millions of bitches. I mean peaches.
Peaches for me.
Oh man, this song is so wild. I have did you do any research on this song at all? Because I was just like, I was curious.
I did not.
I was like, this song is so dumb. Like, why? Okay. I just found something doing a little quick Gigu search. So they said, despite speculation, this is according to Wikipedia, which we all know is a 100% valid source. Asterisk, take with a grain of salt. It says, despite speculation that the lyrics contain innuendo, in an interview with American Songwriter magazine, the lead singers explained that the song was inspired by two separate events. The first, in which it took place in Boston, while taking LSD in a house of a woman he was attracted to. And then it was like a nearby peach tree. And the second instance, the second occurrence was when he moved back to Seattle, and he overheard a homeless man uttering to himself about a lot of peaches. So,
okay, well, what I just found is similar, I think, to the first story. It says, according to Chris Ballew, it's the lead singer. It's about a girl I once had a crush on. I had a crush on this girl and was too scared to tell her. One day I plucked up the courage and went over to her house to tell her, but she wasn't home. I don't know what any of that has to do with peaches necessarily. I feel like the LSD story is probably more accurate. Just maybe at the time of this interview, he wasn't comfortable enough saying that. But yeah, wow. Plus that just the idea of him like tripping balls and just sees a peach tree makes more sense for what the song is than whatever I just said. So.
Yeah. About him having a crush on this random chick while he was like tripping balls. Oh wow, that's interesting.
Well, I'm happy that song cracked you up because
It did.
I was like doing my evil laugh behind the scenes, wondering how you reacted to that.
Yes. Job well done, sir. Very proud.
Thank you. Okay, I'm going to jump to a song that I knew before even looking was going to be on here. If you hadn't put it on here, I was going to put it on here, and that's Peaches and Cream by 112.
Okay.
The original Peaches and Cream. It was literally, as soon as this topic was suggested, it was like the first song, and by the time I actually went and looked, you'd already added it. Again, makes sense, because it's the first song anyone who was born in the 80s or 90s probably will think of whenever you say food song, like or food music. You're gonna think Peaches and Cream by 112 or 112.
You had an extra one.
I will say, for some reason, until this playlist, though, in my head, all these, because I've not heard this song, I'm not listening to this song. I don't even know, long time.
Yeah, for sure.
But in my head, I was always like, until this, it was again on this playlist, and I was actually like listening to it, looking at it. I thought this was why am I blanking on them? The group,
or Jagged Edge.
No, I thought it was Wu-Tang or Boyz II Men. I thought it was one of those two for some reason.
Wow. Okay, let's preface this and say that Wu-Tang and Boyz II Men are.
I know they're very different. But I'm also not super familiar with either of their discographies. So I just knew it was like I knew in my head it was a group of people. Sure. Like it wasn't just one dude. And they were like rap / R&B. It was like a rap R&B group. It's like all I had in my head just because of the nature of the song. So I guess because of that, I didn't remember the actual group 112, and I just substituted one of those two groups.
Yes.
Yeah, I just wanted to share that, I guess. I forgot 112 as a group existed until I saw them under the song.
I mean, to be fair, a lot of people have, because R&B groups don't really exist like that anymore.
True.
But that was definitely during the era of Jagged Edge and 112, and a lot of the R&B groups, Drew Hills and all of them, were still hanging on to fame. But yeah, I was gravitated towards this beat, the song, because of the beat. As you know, as a kid coming up, I it was unique at the time for me to hear like an R&B song with that kind of heavy synthesized sound. And I was like, oh, this is different. I'm just like, okay, this is not.
When did this? I know this was 90s, but when did this come out?
No, this is 2001, I think.
Is it really? Oh, it is 2001.
Yeah.
It definitely has still a very 90s-esque, like late 90s. I'll give it that, which I guess makes sense with it being early 2000s. But
yeah, even then, being the child that I was, I knew it was all about sex, but I didn't know it was like that much about sex. But
I will say this was one of, because I also heard this song whenever I was a pretty young lad, and this was one of the earliest memories I have of like really internalizing what an innuendo was. Like,
exactly.
Oh, they're talking about they're saying food words, but what they really mean is lady parts.
Exactly.
Or whatever,
It still holds up because I guess it was ahead of its time, so to speak. It still has like the 90s vibe. It still had like a little bit of futuristic vibe.
It does.
So, which is cool.
I definitely, I don't know how much of it was like a nostalgia hit, but I definitely, I didn't skip this song a single time. Listen to the play. Like, it was one I vibed out to and jammed to every single time it came through.
Yeah. But
well, hold up. Is 112 an Atlanta based?
Yeah.
Or I guess were they an Atlanta based group? Okay.
Yeah. They were actually, they got their name from the club where the infamous Sean P. Diddy Combs discovered them. So the club was called 112.
Oh, okay.
And he discovered them at that club, and then coincidentally, they ended up changing their name to 112 to honor that.
Interesting. The more you know.
All right. Moving down the playlist. Let's go to the next song following Peaches and Cream. Let's talk about Mama's Apple Pie.
I like the way he sings this.
Yeah, so this song, similar to the Peaches and Cream song, how you had the nostalgia hit to it. I had a nostalgia hit to this song because this is a song I've heard growing up, hanging around my uncles and all of them, and I never really listened to the lyrics. So when I just knew the chorus, but I'm listening to the lyrics. This song it's complex. It's more complex than I thought.
Some layers, yeah.
Yeah, it definitely has some layers to it because I'm just like, okay, obviously she don't want to deal with you.
Yeah, for whatever reason.
For whatever reason, like, why are you stalking this
Probably
woman?
because you're calling her every day.
You're calling her every day.
She's like, I'm at work.
I gotta make money. Like, why are you bothering me? And then you equate her to your mama's apple pie that's super sweet, 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 sweet. Like, first of all, your mama trying to give you diabetes. Secondly, what? It's like the chorus is such a non sequitur between the verses.
What's he saying in the verses?
Yeah. So and like listening to it, I just was cracking up. And I may have shared this story on the podcast before, but I'm gonna reshare it again. I was at the place when I was working overnights, and I had a cashier, and she would at that time I think she was like probably in her mid to late 50s. And I don't know how we got on the subject, but I ended up talking about this song, and I pulled it up on my phone for her to hear it. And the song comes on, Mama's apple pie, da, 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 so sweet, sweet, sweet. And I get halfway through the song, and she gently, put her hand on my shoulder, and it says, "Baby, how old is you?" She was like, I've never heard this song a day in my life. How old is this song?
When did this come out?
But it came out in 1991. But it sounded like it came out like in the 60s. It's such a throwback vibe.
It does have a throwback vibe, 100%. I did not know it was a 90s song at all.
It's a 90s song. And so I had to look it up for myself because I was like, okay. I was like, this has to be a typo. Nope, this song legitimately came out in 1991. And he was in Atlanta at the time when this song came out, which makes it even more funnier. And the fact that he was signed to an independent label called Ichiban Records here in Atlanta. And Ichiban is Japanese for number one or the best of. So they decided to call themselves, we're the best record label. Well, of course, they went bankrupt. But
I've never heard of them, so exactly. That obviously panned out well.
Panned out extremely well. And oddly enough, that independent record label was like, I guess a starting front for a lot of like major Atlanta acts coming up, including Lil Jon. He was signed to that label at one point.
Oh,
before going on to various degrees of success. So, but yeah, a lot of people know about Tyrone Davis because of his major hit, "Turn Back the Hands of Time." That slow song that's like super powerful and passionate. But he's never really got that level of success again, mainly because during that era, record labels were like the bread and butter for promotion. And he kept bouncing around from label to label to label, or the label was shut down. He was like on this independent label. They were closed. He had to go here and try to, keep his music alive. And then ultimately he just, he ended up passing in 2005. But he really didn't like do anything major other than Turn Back the Hands of Time. And oddly enough, he performed on a PBS special dedicated to 70s soul music in 2004. And then a year later ended up passing. So at least he got a chance to, at least make it a little bit of a national presence once again before, leaving. But that song is so stupid, and that's another earwormy song. Every time I see an apple pie, I just think about Mama's apple pie.
Sweet, sweet, sweet. So it's like, again, I love the way he sings it. That's definitely for me. The way he sings it, like his cadence on certain words, is what gets stuck in my head. Mm-hmm. I won't even be saying whole lines in my head. I'll literally just be repeating like half of a line.
Yeah. Like, I called you every day.
It's so literally subtle. Like from the first line. Yeah.
Just what kind of relationship do we have? Bro, you a stalker.
Like, I don't know. It both like brings in my attention to like really hyper focus on it, but then also just like throws me off at the same time. It's interesting in that way.
Absolutely.
Well, what do I want to talk about next? I'm gonna bounce out of the desserts a little bit and the fruits. I'm gonna go back up. Let's talk about Nas and Busta Rhymes and fried chicken.
Yo, this song. Go for it. I've been dying to hear your opinions on this song.
I'm okay. So I'm assuming the stereotype was already a thing, and they were kind of playing with that for this song, right?
Well, yes. So, okay. How can I explain this?
I like this. That question has been bothering me, but I don't know how to like broach that without getting into like heavy topics.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Well, it's going to get a little heavy, but not too heavy. So obviously, fried chicken has been, stereotype of African American culture for decades, almost a millennia. It seems like at this point. But of course, plus, also, fried chicken has been spread across the world due to our influence and whatever. Anyway, this is really hard. Okay. This song was on Nas's album that ultimately ended up being called Untitled. But if you look at the album cover itself, it
just says Nas.
It just says Nas, but there's a whole bunch of lashings on the back. So he was going to call the album. That was going to be the actual album title because he wanted to take the stigma out of the word and reclaim it. That was the whole purpose of it. But then the label and people were starting to backlash at it. It was just like, oh, no, like, why are you pushing it? You're pushing it too hard, man. You're trying too hard. But Nas has always been an intellectual rapper.
And I've seen that there's even there's a song with that title.
Exactly.
On the album.
Uh-huh. So, and like even in the main single from that album called Hero, featuring Carrie Hilson, in the third verse, he even mentions it. He was like, no matter what the album is called, I'm still unbeatable. I'm still unbeatable, y'all. So like, he addresses the issue that there's a lot of opposition against him, challenging that. And I believe this is also the same album. Let me make sure I am speaking correctly. This is coming off the top of my dome. Yeah, it is. Okay, perfect. So a lot of these songs addresses a lot of the issues, the controversial, the racial divide in America. So This album came out in like 2008. So this is not, it's topical, but it's not like current. So don't take it that way, people listening. But
it's not new, but I would say it's still very topical.
Still very topical. So this song was kind of tongue in cheek, talking about the stereotypes of that. So I just enjoy the song.
It's a good song.
It's very clever.
It is
for the wordplay of it, and just basically saying how fried chicken has been like a seductress.
Comparing fried chicken to like a lady who's like literally seducing you, but it's just like you're getting your arteries clogged from they talk about that like I was literally killing them, but they don't care because it's so delicious.
Exactly like how fried chicken is a succubus, and it's so wild, man. I love that album because it really challenges you to think a lot, and that's one thing I like about Nas for sure is that he does kind of bucks the trends.
He's one of those, like, I have yet to really hear a song by him that like I didn't appreciate in some sense. It may just be the lyrics or another aspect of it or whatever. He's still a pretty large hole just in my music knowledge, though. I still need to go back and listen. I've only heard like, kind of, I guess, his like bigger hits. I just went through and listened to like whole albums of him.
Yeah. It's definitely that. Yeah. So it's definitely worth to listen. We may have to do a deep dive on Nas. I feel like as I'm so lyrically minded or whatever, to have an artist who is prolifically known as like an intelligent, like deep thought, like intricate lyric rapper. It's kind of appalling that I'm not focused more on him, I think. I mean, it literally is, but at the same time, it's going to be because he's so lyrically dense that it may be a two-parter, honestly. Like right. if we ever do a deep dive on Nas. But jump back into the song, it just cracked like Busta Rhymes just comes through, just kills me with the whole swine part and saying mixed with all of the stuff. I'm still gonna eat the shit to death.
Yeah. And also just the way that they produced it, where he comes in, it's like it's very seamless. The last line of Nas's verse and then Busta coming in at the beginning of his verse. It's like it's almost like one big verse that's just split up by two different people. Just how seamless it is. That was just one thing production wise that I mean the whole song production wise is phenomenal, but that in particular was something I noticed.
Okay, well, I guess while we still frying some chicken, let's go and get some fried rice.
Free chicken.
I'd be like
free chicken wing and a fried rice.
I'd be like so this song apparently, okay, I didn't know how old this song was. I just discovered it this year through a friend of mine that put me on game.
Really? This was a throwback for me.
Yeah. So a friend of mine put me on game about it, and shout out to Napper.
It only came out in 2020. It feels like it was, I guess, because everything going on in 2020, but it feels like it was longer than that.
Yeah. 2020 is like it's a time warp.
It's like a whole decade. It's only been 4 years, well, almost 5 years, but
almost 5 years ago, and it feels like it's been 50.
Yeah, legitimately.
But yeah, I didn't know about it until I saw like the YouTube shorts of people doing all the dancing and stuff, which I like overloaded you with a whole bunch of those.
Which I enjoyed because I also was not aware of that aspect of it. I just remembered the song itself. I didn't know there was like dances and everything.
Oh
like
man,
I didn't know people went all that far into it with it.
Yo, the one that I sent you, which I'm going to include in the show notes for real this time. Make sure I put them in there. The one with the head, like the girls on the escalator. That was so wild to me. I was like, I don't know.
That was pretty coordinated. That was like a South Korean like music video levels of coordination. Like
100%.
That was pretty legit. And it just seemed like a bunch of I could be wrong, but it seemed like a bunch of just high school or whatever their equivalent of high school girls would be.
I would imagine, but then again, I don't know.
Either way, it's very impressive. The coordination on that.
All I know is that I would have had 15 concussions by the time I finished that video.
Yeah, they whipped their heads all over the place.
They were getting it. And the caption that Lew Sid put on there had me cracking out. He was like, wow, they must be connected by Bluetooth or something.
Yeah, right.
I was wild. And I was like, this dude is funny. And then like how he showed up in the other videos, he was in the hospital coming out, and the nurse comes out and starts dancing to the song. He's over there just dancing with his IV bag.
Like, takes off his IV and everything. Yeah,
it was so wild to me. So yeah, so that was a vibe for that one. Like I can't help it. I love it. Like, I take your order. That's not my order.
I ain't paying for that.
I'm not paying
you
for
order,
that.
You pay.
You order spare rib. I don't order no spare ribs. Stop playing with me. Oh yeah, definitely. We've all been there.
Yeah.
Especially since like Chinese food is like, well, American Chinese food is definitely like one of my favorite.
And he also
Well,
brings up a good point where, like, he talks about, every hood in America or whatever has like a China one or a China walk. Like, and that's so true. You literally, everywhere you go, if you're near, in, around, close to, if you're a stone's throw away from like a somewhat large city, you basically can just walk down the street and you'll stumble over several Chinese or like Asian food places. It's like,
bruh,
there's so many.
I'm like within walking distance of a number one China and a China walk, and I frequent both of them.
Like, it's funny because the restaurants in the song that he lists like 3 or 4. All of them, like, hey, I know one of those. I know one of those. I know one of those. I know several of those. It's like they're all over the place.
And the sad part is they actually know me. And it's so sad. I can't be about to admit this. There'll be times where I will walk in and there'll be a line and I'll be at the very end of the line, and they'd be like, Terrio, your order? I was like, yeah, okay, you come in, I got you. I'm like, okay. And then sometimes like I'll come in there and not even have my order placed, and they'll be like, oh, you want this, you want that, you want that? Yeah, okay, you wait 10 minutes, I got you. I'm like, okay.
I know you so well.
And I keep getting the same thing. I'm just like, God dang it. So that's when I realized it was a problem. I was like, I got to make better choices. Hey Siri, order Chinese food.
While we're talking about it, I could go for 3 chicken wings and some fried rice right now.
I really could. Oh my God, my mouth is watering.
Let's just take a moment while you're bringing it up. How hungry did listening to this playlist make you? Because it was kind of tough listening to this like on the way home from work, and it's been a few hours since I've ate lunch or whatever, and I'm just like, man,
this song,
my stomach's rumbling.
This playlist gave me decision paralysis because I was like, I could use some fried chicken. I do some fried rice. You sound good. I don't know. I do want some greens, beans, potatoes.
All the sides.
On the side. And then on top of that, I'm also a seafood junkie.
And we got a few seafood.
So Rock Lobster. We got to talk about this one.
Let's get into it. This was honestly, in my opinion, I know we have a couple of like kind of, you could say kind of dumb, jokey songs on it or whatever. In my opinion, this is the dumbest song on the playlist.
Oh my God. Thank you for saying that. Because that's exactly how I felt about this song.
It's so dumb. It's so
stupid. It's so 70s.
So dumb. It's so, I don't even think it's 70s, bro.
Is it 70s or is that, what era is that? Is that 80s? Because like the whole time I'm hearing nothing but Scooby-Doo mysteries.
Oh, it is 70s. I think it is 70s. And it's funny, right? So this is the like the single version, right? The actual album version is like 7 minutes long, has like a whole additional verse.
Oh no.
It's literally like 2 extra minutes of them just Rock Lobster.
Oh my God. This is
so yeah, you were a 78.
Okay.
It has like, if you had told me it was like 68, I'd have been like, yeah, that checks out. It definitely has more of like a like beachy 60s vibe to me.
It just screams Hanna-Barbera to me. Like this is all I think of.
Yes. 100%. Yes, dude. I didn't really like stop to think about it, but you just, yes. That's all I can say is that's spot on.
That's the entire vibe I got from this song.
100%.
And then just even like the end where the girl was going,
well, like it's also as they're saying like the different, some of which I'm pretty sure there's no such thing as a dogfish. I don't think. But they're saying,
surprised.
They say like 4 or 5 different fishes, and like each one has its own like little sound to come. It's just like this such a dumb song, dude.
I mean, it feels like it's like part like scripted song and part improv.
Yeah,
and like just people just wilding out in the back. The dogfish goes wah.
Yeah,
it's like what? So I'm just thinking to myself like it starts off okay and then it just goes crazy, and then there's like a part where the song fades out and you think it's over with and it picks right back up again. It's like, God damn it, it's still going.
Yep.
It's so annoying. Like I have a full circle experience. I go from liking it to hating it to liking it again throughout the duration of the song. It's so stupid. And the crazy part about it for me, because I didn't really grow up with this kind of stuff growing up, the first time I heard the song was on Family Guy. But I thought it was just a bit. I didn't know it was I didn't know it was making fun of the song.
That was where I originally heard it from, and then I think me and a buddy in like middle school or maybe early high school were like doing the bit from Family Guy, and then a kind of older teacher was like, "Oh, you guys know that song?" And we're like, you know that song? Because we're like, you watch Family Guy? And she's like, what? No, that's from Family. That's not from Family Guy. That's an actual song. And she played it for us.
Oh, wow.
So that was like where, yeah. So I've known this song for a long time, but it's so dumb. It's such a dumb, cheesy song.
Yeah.
But yeah, like you, I also love me some seafood. So
yes. I mean, I was like, because at first I was like, Rock Lobster. I was like, okay, songs about food. I was like, well, okay, I guess it technically tracks. But at the same time, I did listen to the song. I was like, okay, this song definitely fits the theme of just being stupid songs about food.
Yeah, pretty much.
Because I'm just like, I think there might, on this playlist, it might be like maybe like 5 or 6 songs that are like legitimately about food. Everything else is just some stupid shit that some people put together in the studio, which is still fun, regardless.
Or like you said at the beginning, we have a lot of innuendos.
Yes, so many innuendos.
A lot of song innuendos.
Especially when it comes to the dessert part. It's definitely a lot of that.
So speaking of innuendos, I want to talk about another one of your picks here that brought a smile to my face pretty much every time I heard it. Apple Cobbler by LL Cool J. And
really?
it's specifically the apple cobbler butt line. Just, it's so evocative. It's so great. LL Cool J's pen was on fire when he wrote that line. That's all I'm going to say.
Give it to me. That apple cobbler. Hey, can I get it? Can I get it deep fried? Ow!
It's so good.
This song is so stupid. Like, I love it because, okay, I love it. And like, I wasn't really expecting it it took a while to grow on me. I ain't gonna lie.
It took a couple listens for it to grow on me too, mainly because his cadence of his bars, like I just like not really listening to the words, just trying to absorb the music the first couple times. It really threw me off. I was like, I don't know. His like kind of, I want him to get it. But then I was actually sort of listening to the words. It's like, you know what? No, it works for what he's talking about.
Yeah. Give me the piece of that crud. Like, I'm just like, I wanted, just like you, I wanted LL to just rip it. But I could tell, I had to make peace with the fact that this is a playful song. You don't got to rip it on it. And then it also helps that you put it after Cherry Pie. So just like the whole vibe, I'm like, I'm hyped. And then that comes on right after that. And it just kind of, I keep that energy going into Apple Cobbler.
And again, it is from you, thanks to you, I am pretty easily able to spot a Timbaland beat.
Yeah.
Like it's like relatively quickly into hearing a song for the first time, I'd be like, oh yeah, this is Timbaland.
Yep. Because it's some weird shit, right?
It's some just the way the way he does, the way he samples shit. Just there's something about it. I don't have quite the producer brain to like really key in on what it is yet necessarily. Like if there's like one ubiquitous thing just across all of his songs, but it's just something about the way he produces his songs. It has a very unique sound, and it's just every time I'm like, oh yeah, this is Timbaland.
Like, so that was the second song I picked. It was Mama's Apple Pie and then Apple Cobbler. Those are the two things that I immediately thought about.
Really? You picked Apple Cobbler before Peaches and Cream?
I did.
112?
I did.
Surprising to me.
Right.
Well, maybe because I actually was not familiar with this song before this playlist. I really don't know much of LL Cool J's songs like at all, to be honest. That's a huge hole in my music knowledge.
Yeah. We're not doing a deep dive on that one. We'll be here for 6 years.
Well, maybe one day we'll take that journey.
Yeah. Or we could take something to go with a carry out. Yeah. Since you're on the Timbaland bandwagon, why not just finish it on out?
Yeah, keep it going. And Timbaland partnered with maybe not. I don't know who all, because I guess like Missy Elliott and that whole crew is probably the artist he's like collabed with the most. But I feel like Justin Timberlake has to be close. He's got to be up there.
Yeah, for sure.
Especially like since they first got together in like 05, 06, whenever that was. Like they've just made so many. Oh no! So much music together. No, was it earlier than that?
Earlier than that, like that was like 2001. They got together with Justified.
Was that with
Cry Me a
Justin's? Yeah. Was that 2001?
I believe so. So I was still in high school.
I'm getting the early 2000s is just a murky time for me. Apparently,
yeah. So it just goes from 2010 to like 1990. Like everything else,
everything between that is just a mush of it. Could be any time in that 20-year period.
It's a full mosaic period. Like nobody
could be
knows
92, anything. Could be 2008, anywhere in between.
I don't know, man. This sounds like it either came out in 92 or 2010. I don't know. Like there's a whole time period between it. But this song was on Timbaland's third solo album. and it's a sequel to his second album, Shock Value. I heard this song. I wasn't a fan, but then putting together this playlist, and then I had my Spotify on shuffle, and then this song came up. I was like, "Oh yeah, we gotta talk about to-go orders," and then the innuendos with the to-go orders as well. So I was like, "Oh yeah,"
which to me is the most impressive part of the song.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's kind of easy if you're gonna make an innuendo talking about someone's pie or peaches or whatever. Like, those are already very, at least here today in 2024, very sexually charged foods already, just innately.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, to do it about carry out is, quite impressive.
Yeah. Come over here. What's your name? Come closer. Can I take your order? It's so stupid.
I dug it. That was another one that I had not really heard, I don't think, before this playlist, but I vibed to it. I was surprised you said you didn't like it at first, because
no, I didn't, because he has better songs on this album, but because it's just a start off kind of song. So yeah, it was a good vibe. It fits the narrative, and then the music video is, if you ever get a chance to watch it, is really crazy. It's obviously sexually charged, but they're like in front of like a whole bunch of like like the LED signs. They're like at a restaurant. You got the girls dancing around, all of that. So.
And when did this come out? Like, this came out, okay, you already said that, 2008, 2009, which that was like peak Justin Timberlake, I feel like, whenever he was like, that was his like sexiest man alive era or whatever.
Yeah, that was around the Future Sex Love Sounds era.
Yeah, this fits his style of music.
Yes.
Like, lyrically speaking, of the time. He had pretty much all of his songs were like innuendos or sexually charged in one way or another.
Yeah.
I can't think of a single Justin Timberlake song like from that era that's not. Yeah. Which, to be fair, again, I'm not like the biggest Justin Timberlake fan, so I'm sure there are. Just all of his popular ones were in this same vein.
Yeah, for sure. I wish him the best. He's kind of fallen from grace a little bit, but I appreciate the talent nonetheless. What song you want to hop into next? You want some dessert or you want some fruit? Because I think we got all the entrees covered.
Well, we did the one silly song. Let's do your other silly song real quick. I'm at the top. Let's do Rest in Grease by At Wendy's real quick. Let's just go ahead and get that one knocked out of the way. That was a last minute audible. You just added that like a day or two ago.
I totally
pretty great.
forgot about it.
It's obviously, again, I'm pretty sure this was literally like written by and supposed to be, in air quotes, performed by the Wendy's Twitter. And it's, from what I can tell, a like diss track towards McDonald's and how Wendy's is the fast food queen, as she says on the track. It's so dumb. It's so unbelievably dumb, but it also is kind of catchy at the same time.
It's so good. Because like I'm Queen Wendy in this thing.
Queen Wendy in this thing.
And then when she
definitely
said,
is a line.
She said, your food is a joke while your ice cream machine always broke.
It's broke. That's how, I think a few lines down from that, she actually calls out McDonald's, but that was the line that gave it away. I was like, oh, she's throwing heat at McDonald's right now for sure. That's what she's saying.
Well, here's the thing. So this whole, for those that aren't familiar, Wendy's, the burger chain, had a Twitter account.
It still has. That goes pretty hard.
Okay, cool. I haven't been on Twitter.
To my knowledge, I could be wrong, but to my knowledge, I still haven't.
Okay. Well, around this time, back in whatever year that was, I don't remember. It could be 2018 or 1992. Yeah. Who knows?
2018.
Okay, so around this time, Wendy's was on Twitter talking a whole bunch of smack, calling out the fast food chains or whatever else, and decided to drop a literal mixtape called "We Beefin'."
We beefing.
We beefing. And,
with a question mark.
With a question mark.
It's we beefing?
Yeah. And the cover art is like inspired by Notorious B.I.G.'s debut album, Ready to Die. So like they did a play on that.
And they just have just their square patty on
the square patty with the font on the bottom. And it dropped like six, like five songs or whatever. And I think Rest in Grease is like the hardest one out of all the 5 tracks. I've been trying to dig. I haven't done like super thorough research on it, but I was trying to figure out who the rapper is for Wendy, but they won't disclose that. So because I can't tell if it's the same chick or they got different female rappers taking on the persona of Wendy with the diss track. Either way, The fact being that our burger joint dropped a record.
It's so insane.
It's so insane, and it's actually harder than some of the rap that's out now.
It's actually like really good.
Really good and lyrical, and the beat's on point. I'm just like, yo, I mean, I don't fuck with Wendy's food like that anymore, but I might have to go to the drive-thru just, to represent.
The only thing I can really hold against it is it's only a minute and a half. I wouldn't mind another 30 seconds to another minute
right.
of lines and bars on how McDonald's sucks.
Exactly.
Because, I mean, I would definitely go. I don't really go to Wendy's like that either nowadays, but I would definitely go to Wendy's over McDonald's any day of the week.
Absolutely.
Well, okay. From there, I want to segue. I think we have a nice segue into the next song that's talking about fast food place. And it really threw me off whenever I saw it on the playlist for the first time. I was like, what the hell is Kanye West doing on here?
Oh,
I was like, closed on Sunday. What is this song? What does this have to do with food at all? And then I actually listened to it. And it's like, oh, my Chick-fil-A. I'm like, oh my God. Only Kanye can make a song about Chick-fil-A and it be like a heartfelt, like he's talking about like raising his kids, religion. He's talking about how God needs to put him on the right path because Chick-fil-A is closed on Sundays.
Closed on Sunday.
I did not know how to take it.
Bro, I was dying at work. This thing came on, like the algorithm played this. I had no interest on this song or album at this point.
Because again, neither one of us are really the biggest Kanye fans like that.
I'm old Kanye. New Kanye, I don't fuck with. College Dropout to Late Registration and a little bit of Graduation. That's the era of Kanye that I mess with. And to sprinkle in a little bit of My Beautiful Twisted Dark Fantasy. Just a little bit of that era. Like, I'm cool with that. Everything else, Life of Pablo and blah, 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 blah. Everything else beyond that, the whole Yeezus thing, that's not my jam. And then I hear, closed on Sunday, you're my Chick-fil-A. I was like, hold up.
Dude, that's literally my reaction. I was like, hold up. I know he didn't put this on here. Hold up. Like, I was legitimately mad for a second about it. But then I had to begrudgingly accept it because it fits the theme. So I guess it's fine.
I mean, but what cracked me, like, I dealt with the duration of the song, but I was like, okay, what's happening? And then by the time you kind of process what's happening, you hear, Chick-fil-A!
Dude, yeah. Yes.
And I was like, what just happened?
That's so by the time you finally accept, okay, this is like a Christian R&B gospel song about Chick-fil-A, and he ends it with Chick-fil-A. It's so dumb. Why?
I don't know.
It's the way he says it. You just did it spot on too. Chick-fil-A. It's like such a high pitched, like, Kanye, what are you doing, dude?
I have no idea. Man, and Chick-fil-A is a controversy within itself because, man, okay, I will say it. Screw it. Let the record show. I think their food is highly overrated. The service is great. That part is unbeatable. But their chicken is not like, oh my God, I gotta have it. This is the best chicken on. This is the Lord's chicken. It's whatever. It's fine. It's feasible when you're hungry. When you want a good good biscuit sandwich or whatever in the morning, it's fine. It's not the eternal mecca.
Wow.
Like, you're not going to bite into a chicken biscuit and levitate and see the clouds part.
Everyone's entitled to their opinion, regardless of how wrong or awful they may be.
Asshole.
I will partially agree with you that Chick-fil-A is definitely a little overrated, but in my opinion, for the price, I think it's like the best bang for your buck chicken fast food you can get. But again, that's for the price because it's relatively cheap, especially nowadays when all the fast food places. I mean, and Chick-fil-A is not like they're included in this, but
sure.
You know, with fast food going up all across the board, pretty much they still have relatively cheap chicken sandwiches that are, I think, pretty delicious.
Basically, what I'm hearing from you is you're saying that Chick-fil-A is, that's your shit.
What a segue. I don't know if that's accurate necessarily what you just said, but I'll accept it for the sake of the segue. Yeah, this is where we get into some fruit. when you hit Hollaback Girl on the playlist, that's where some fruit starts to come in. Fruit and dessert.
Yep.
Because I think this was actually the last song I picked for the playlist, and it kind of was a moment of like I got struck with inspiration where I was just like BANANAS.
Yep.
I was like, because that's literally what everyone remembers from that song more than anything else. I feel like
100%.
I felt like barely does it fit the theme, but
it barely squeaks in there. And the crazy part is when I saw this, so like how you felt about looking at Clothes on Sunday, that's the way I felt about Hollaback Girl. When I saw you added that on to the playlist, I was like, okay, this motherfucker. Okay. I just looked at the playlist with a side eye. I was like, okay. Like part of me was like, why did I not think of this? And then secondly,
I was pretty proud of it.
I was like, this clever son of a bitch. You found a way.
I was definitely giggling to myself as I was adding it to the list. I'm not gonna lie. I literally went in like to work the next day and told my coworker, like, yeah, so we got this food playlist and I just finalized my picks yesterday. And the song I'm happiest about putting on there is Hollaback Girl by Gwen Stefani. And she kind of looked at me funny for a second, and I just looked at her for a second, and then I just bust out, that shit is bananas. BANANA. She's like, oh, okay. I get
it. That's the same reaction. DJ Kidamore came over to hang out for a little bit, and I previewed the playlist for him, and he was like, "This song don't have anything to do with food." I was like, "Just keep listening." He was like, "I noticed." He was like, "I noticed something." I said, "Just keep listening."
Just keep listening, buddy.
He kept fighting it, and then it came up. This shit is bananas. I thought this man was gonna get dizzy. The way he rolled his eyes so hard, he was like, "Oh my god, y'all are dumb.
Yes.
Y'all are so stupid." I was like, "Yes, we accomplished our goal."
That was definitely my goal whenever I picked that one. I hoped that would happen to most people.
Yeah.
They would be like, why is Hollaback Girl by Gwen Stefani on here? What? And they just keep listening like, oh, bananas, of course. That makes sense.
Talk about food one way or the other.
Yeah.
And bananas is, it's one of those fruits that you got to eat it just right, or you have to cook it when it's like at its worst, and then it becomes its best again. So
that's true. Like the best bananas for like banana bread is like whenever it's like almost goop.
Yep.
Which is crazy.
Exactly. Same thing with banana pudding. But then again, like if you want some good plantains or whatever, that's a whole other thing. And then I learned recently that our American bananas are like super heavily like genetically modified.
Oh yeah. Well, so like if you get like what's it like a banana Laffy Taffy, like the fake like artificial banana flavor is actually based off of a is it like the Michelle bananas? It's literally like we ate them to extinction. I say extinction. You can still find them. They're just not sold on stores because they were like basically driven to extinction. So that you have to like kind of really go out of your way to find them. But so whenever you taste like a banana flavored candy or something or anything that's like artificially banana flavored, that flavor is actually based off of the Michelle banana that you can't find anymore. So that's why it doesn't really taste like, because I wondered that for the longest time, like these banana flavors don't taste anything like a banana taste, but it does actually taste like a banana, just not the bananas we have anymore. So
gotcha.
There's your banana fun fact for the day.
Yeah. Yeah, that shit is bananas.
A-N-A-N-A-S.
I just learned something now. That's cool. But yeah, definitely. And listening to the song, like I, of course we heard it so many times, and as soon as I heard the beginning, I automatically thought about those Vine videos that I sent you.
With everyone's getting fallen over and like smacking their face or whatever. Yeah, it definitely cracked me up pretty thoroughly.
Yes, all the fail videos. This my shit. All the people tried to be like, damn, everybody got murked. So that's what I automatically think about it, because like I fell into that whole fail video period like very hard. Like it brought me so much joy watching people bust their ass. Still does. But in listening to the song itself, and actually paying attention to the lyrics of the song, I actually kind of like the message of the song. It's
I
like,
do too, and that's something I never picked up on. Like, because I was younger whenever the song first came out, so I just just knew it as like the popular song that was played on the radio. That BANANAS again, like that was what I remembered. I didn't know, like you said, it's got a really good message actually.
Yeah, just like let people talk shit about you. It's like, okay, cool, you can talk about the shit. I hear you. Like I'm aware of what you're saying, but I ain't finna sit here and holler back at you. I ain't got time for that.
Right, so I'm just gonna stay on my grind.
Yeah,
focus on me. I'm worrying about all that.
Yeah, because another one bites the dust.
Yeah,
which I believe that song samples. Yep,
it's a good point. Okay, well, I want to dive into. I don't really have a segue from that. I want to dive into. We did all of your songs. I feel like at this point, I think.
Well, I have one. If you're not ready for one.
Yeah, which one you want to talk about? If you got one you want to talk about,
I want to talk about the other Peaches and Cream. Which is still,
I was actually leaning towards that if you had said it. So yeah, let's talk about it.
Yeah. So is this the same? Did this come out the same album as Deborah?
That's actually a good question.
Like I didn't bother to go check or look it up, but sonically, I feel like it came from the same album.
It is. Yes.
Okay. Because
makes a lot of sense. Yeah.
The way he was singing definitely reminds me of Prince.
Which, yeah, so I looked up a little bit about this song and the album in particular. He said I forget the dude's name. I guess Beck, whatever Beck is for the group, was talking about how he loves, and me and you relate to this pretty heavily, I think, but he loves the like fusion of like different eras of sounds. And this album came out like 98.
Oh wow.
99.
Oh wow.
But he talked about in the interview that like the 90s in general, a lot of people were fusing different genres, and it's just you find that type of sound or that people doing that all throughout the 90s. And so this album that the song is from had a lot of different like genres and eras of influence. This song in Deborah in particular, like you just said, he obviously had like a very big Prince influence with like the falsetto singing and the kind of like soulful R&B almost style of like musical playing, their instrumental playing in the background, which I thought all that was super interesting, that he literally made an album with the intent of like, I'm gonna go into this fusing different sounds and different eras. And he's got kind of like a, some parts of the song I feel like do kind of harken back to like a 70s, like almost like a slow disco-y vibe. And then you got kind of like the 90s soul and R&B. And it kind of bounces around a little bit. And it's beautifully done. Of course, much like the other Peaches and Cream, it's all very much innuendo, like just throughout the song. Keep 100%. Your lamp light trimmed or whatever at the end. Someone asked him in the same interview, like, is that an innuendo? And he's like, well, obviously it could very much be taken as an innuendo because you're keeping your light on for me to come home in a very dark, so it's not an all dark and cramped place or whatever. He's something along those lines. I was just like, okay, I see you, Beck. I see you.
Yep. That's the vibe I was definitely getting from that whole song. And then again, I like Beck, but I didn't know how much I like Beck, which is crazy because the one thing about him that I've noticed is that his albums, he definitely chooses a particular theme and a particular sound. Because if you go back to this other album, that first album by Beck that I listened to called Guillermo, I think was called, and he's like rapping almost on a lot of his songs.
Which he did talk about in that same interview. He talked about somewhere during the 90s, he actually like fell in love with hip hop because hip hop was like kind of the forerunner of doing that. When I was of pulling different genres of music in different eras and like sampling, you might be a 90s rap song, but you're sampling R&B or soul or jazz from the 60s, 70s, 80s. Like he saw them doing that. I was like, well, they can't be I could do that on my music. Why don't I do something like that? And so was it like heavily inspired by a lot of hip hop. So that's interesting. I didn't know he had a rap album or like a rap-esque album. I've not listened to a lot of his stuff. So, but that makes a lot of sense based on that interview that he would do that.
Yeah, for sure. I definitely dug that song. A lot more than the Beatles one.
You didn't like Savoy Truffle?
It's okay. I'm just not like...
It's not my favorite Beatles song by any stretch. I can admit that. It's a very because, okay, to me, the Beatles have like, they have a specific sound that a lot of their songs, I'll risk saying, I guess, not obsessing people, but I feel like a lot of their songs kind of sound the same. Obviously, they're one of the greatest rock bands of all time, and they do have a lot of songs that are, were groundbreaking at the time and do a lot of interesting, cool things like sonically or whatever. This is not one of those. I don't feel like.
Yeah, I think that's a perfect way to put it. Is when I hear the song, it
just sounds like the Beatles.
Yeah,
almost.
it just I don't. There's nothing distinct. There's nothing that grabs me to it. It's literally background music for me. Like there's nothing that's like, oh, this part really stands out, or this part really jams out, or the way he's singing, or this instrument. It's just blah. It's very bland to me.
I did look up the meaning behind the song, and the meaning kind of lends itself to it not being like a super memorable song, because the meaning, in my opinion, is kind of dumb. It was written as a warning to Eric Clapton, who obviously the Beatles and Eric Clapton like came up together in the same era. They were both like the Beatles, and then Eric Clapton and Cream, his band at the time, were like all friends and would play together and go to shows together, whatever. So apparently George Harrison wrote the song, and it's all about Eric Clapton's love of chocolate. And how if he keeps eating all the different chocolate, apparently all the different flavors they say is from like a pack of chocolate that you could get like back in the day in the UK. And it's like, it had like a bunch of different flavors of chocolate or whatever. The titular candy Savoy truffle is kind of like an almond joy, but a little different. They don't make them anymore. Mm-hmm. But anyways, the whole song is about how Eric Clapton needs to stop eating so much chocolate or all of his teeth are going to fall out. That's literally like the chorus, like they're going to have to pull all of them out or whatever it says.
Okay.
But you'll have to have them all pulled out after the Savoy truffle. That's like the reoccurring line they say throughout the song. So yeah, kind of dumb. Literally just wrote a song because they were worried that Eric Clapton was eating too many sweets and not going to the dentist enough, which they are British. So, there's a whole stereotype there.
You beat me to it. Because I was thinking to myself, I was just like, well, I mean, how bad them teeth gotta be? Because goddamn, for somebody in Britain to be like, bro, you need to go to the dentist and your teeth over here looking like that too. I'm like, whoa, talking about the pot, talking to the kennel.
All right. I will say though, of all my picks, this one has the most food like in the song itself, because it's like every other line is him just saying like a different like cookie or chocolate flavor or something. So it's all like, orange cream and like every other line almost is like a different flavor, it seems like.
Well, I don't know. I beg to differ a little bit because your MF Doom song.
He does mention a lot of cookies in MF Doom.
Yeah. I wasn't really looking forward to the cream at the end of the song, but
well, the whole entire song is one giant metaphor for masturbation.
Exactly. Exactly.
And cookies are, well, it's actually, if you like, because I was actually looking, this was one I was like, I knew it's obvious, right? You listen to the song, it's like, okay, like there's even a couple lines that like he makes it all, like he talks about you got to go beat up One-Eyed Jack, stuff like that, where it's like, okay, no, he's obviously making like a masturbation like running joke throughout the song. But it's actually kind of deep. Like I was looking at like the Genius lyrics earlier, and it's actually like, I mean, it is about masturbation, but it's also about like how porn itself is kind of like, he relates porn to like Little Debbie snacks and like cookies and all these other like junk food stuff. That's basically, at least how Genius put it, is basically it's like not like it fulfills the urge for the moment, but it's not as healthy. It's not as actually like filling as like an actual like interaction with another woman would be or whatever. It's just it like gets the urge. Yeah, it's empty calories. Which once I like had that connection, I was like, oh, that's like such a. I love MF Doom. I'm really surprised we haven't had him on before this episode. With as like prolific as he is, we definitely need to have him on here more, I think.
Well, similar to your Nas and LL Cool J size hole, I think this might be the first MF Doom song I've listened to thoroughly.
Really?
I've known of him, but I've never really taken the time to really investigate or listen to his music.
Sadly, I didn't really find out about his, like, I think I'd heard about him like tangentially off to the side here and there over the years, but it was really whenever he passed away in like 2020 or 2021, somewhere around there. And I have a buddy who was like a pretty big fan, and he was telling me, oh, did you hear MF Doom passed away? And was like telling me all about the music, and he kind of got me like, I think he recommended like an album to start with. And I kind of at that time went hard listening to MF Doom, and then after I kind of went through his whole discography a couple times, kind of I haven't really listened to him heavily since then. This song in particular comes off an entire album called Food. Okay. Which every single song has like a food title or food related title. Most of the songs aren't necessarily like, it doesn't really talk about food at all in the song. It's all just like song titles. This was, in my opinion, this one has like the most actual like food references and bars and stuff. So that's kind of why I decided to pick it. But yeah, the whole album is pretty good. MF Doom in general is like, I've heard him repeatedly described as your rapper's favorite rapper.
For sure. Yeah.
And I think that totally checks out.
Yeah, so I definitely got to check out more of his music. I definitely enjoyed the the ending of it because honestly, like this song would have been perfect to end the playlist on, and then you have like Horchata as like the after credit scene or the after credit.
It's a capper. It's definitely how I was looking at it. Like it's like a you've like in my mind, right? You had the big whole meal. And you've cleaned up. It's like a couple hours later, you still got a full belly, but you just want something a little sweet. So you might sit down with like a cup of something and just like, you still have family and friends over. You're still being social, but you're full. So you don't want to eat anything else. So you bust out a drink. That was kind of where my mind was at whenever I put it at the end.
Yeah. So oddly enough, like I discovered for myself, obviously it's been around for a long time, but I didn't have Horchata for the first time until like last year.
I love Horchata.
Yeah, well, I like it too. So I went to like a authentic Latin Mexican restaurant and I got some, and it was really delicious. So when I saw it on the playlist, I was like, where have I seen this word before? And I looked it up. I was like, oh yeah, it was that drink I had. So I listened to the song and Vampire Weekend. I enjoyed the vibe of it. It definitely kind of has a little bit of a whimsical vibe to it a little bit.
I really like, I mean, you mentioned the vibe. To me, I can't nail down, like it kind of has competing vibes where it has kind of like a wintry, almost Christmas time. Like I kind of picture like you're sitting out and it's like kind of, snow's falling and you're drinking your horchata, but then also it has like beachy tones that come in and it has like the line where like crabs are pinching at your sandal toes. So it has like wintry and like beachy vibes, like kind of competing for each other.
I totally agree with that.
I'm not 100% sure what the lyrics are about 100%, what they're trying to say. Like what, if there's like a deeper meaning behind it or like what the inspiration for the lyrics were. I didn't really look any of that up, but yeah, that dichotomy between those two kind of competing vibes in the song interested me. That's every time I hear it.
And I really think it was the instruments that were chosen because I think it's that xylophone-esque kind of sound.
The little is like the Little Mermaid-esque.
Exactly. So I can totally see the beachy vibe, but also I can also see like I don't know. I just get a feeling of whimsical. Like I feel like you're listening to this song, like this song would appear like in a musical or something. Just like
I could definitely see that.
Yeah. So that's the vibe I got from it, but. Even though I'm not a big fan of Cherry, I need you to find me some Cherry Pie.
This song is a classic rock song. I literally hear it about 8 times a week at work because all they want to ever play at work is 80s music playlist. So this one was like literally like first or second song on the playlist that I picked.
So when this song came on the playlist, this is another one of the moments where my head just went back and just like kind of did a whole dope. Like, how could I not think about this song? And every time it comes, I just immediately just smile because, again, just like you, I've heard the song a billion times. The song just happens upon you. You can be walking down the street and then you can hear through somebody's window, somebody's playing, "She's my cherry pie." You walk past any bar in Atlanta, you're going to hear it at some point. So it just, the fact this song made it to the playlist and it's in the pie section. It really truly cracked me up. It's such a good song. I mean, it's all 100% all innuendo.
1000% innuendo. The music video for it is also pretty interesting because they have like it's from like late 80s, early 90s. I don't remember exactly when this song came out. 1990. So it's got kind of the older style music video or whatever, but they have like an effect, like an early computer effect where they make their smile like really big. So like as they smile, it's like super, it like almost comes off their face. It's super exaggerated. It's really like kind of weird, funny to watch. Like just think back on just how they used to do it, music video.
Yeah. like fully like the early stages of CGI.
Yeah, just like the early effects that they had available to them.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's literally just like a white background, people like dancing and singing, and then they have just like that's the only effect that I remember that they have in the entire video.
This is definitely one of the songs that made me want to like grab a beer when it comes on. Like, and I don't even drink like that, but it's just like that song comes on, just like I just want to get like, yeah, let's get like just get my full white boy on, I guess, and just like just fully rock out. it just I mean, it's the energy is there. Like I just feel the energy. Like I just like I just want to.
It's a very up tempo, high energy song. Like it's like you were saying, it's pretty hard. Even if you have heard the song a bazillion jillion times, it's hard not to sing along to it.
Yeah,
and just she's my cherry pie.
Yeah. Just it's such a vibe.
It's a classic rock song that's stood the test of time for a reason. I feel like it's one song I feel like our grandkids will probably still be singing.
Y'all gather round. Let me tell you a story about your grandma used to call a cherry pie. Could you imagine?
I can.
Oh my goodness. Whew. Well, I don't know about you, but my eyes were definitely bigger than my stomach. I am stuffed.
Yes.
This playlist is we covered the whole gambit of everything from entrees to desserts to fruits and vegetables to restaurant chains. Like I think we covered all the bases.
We definitely had a true musical buffet for everyone today.
Absolutely. And as with any buffet, feel free to share and subscribe to our playlist, our podcast, and the playlist actually. We want to thank you for listening and hanging out with us. And we look forward to hearing from you guys soon.
Yeah, and happy Thanksgiving to everyone who's celebrating that today.
Absolutely, or whatever you want to call it. Whenever you get together with your loved ones, even if it's Thanksgiving or Friendsgiving, or I just feel like doing a potluck or whatever gathering you have around this time of year, make sure you have this playlist playing in the background so you can have everybody's tummies rumbling, waiting for some food. Because that's what this playlist did for me.
Greens, beans, potatoes, tomatoes.
I'd be like... All right. Anyway, we're stuffed. We're full. Thanks for listening, and we'll catch you next go around.
Keep on listening.
Bye.
Bye. Moving to the country, gonna eat a lot of bitches.
Black Giraffe made this.